Dan Bongino left his job just a few days ago, and he's already confirming what many have long suspected. There are serious, disturbing issues inside the Republican Party. What makes this MAGA civil war so entertaining isn't just how messy and ridiculous these internal fights get. It's that they don't stop even after Republicans leave office. Marjorie Taylor Greene isn't stepping down to be quiet. She's planning to get even louder. And clearly, Bongino is doing the same, immediately picking a fight with one of Trump's closest allies and exposing the scandals people have talked about for years. We'll get into everything. But before that, please leave a like on this video and subscribe if you enjoy the channel. It really helps support our work. Now, since Bongino was deeply connected to the Epstein situation during his time in federal service, we need to hear from Ro Khanna before diving into the bombshells he just dropped while going to war with MAGA.
Well, the inherent contempt that Massey and I will be filing would make Pam Bondi personally liable for $5,000 to $10,000 a day for every day that she does not release the files and comply. And it just requires a simple majority in the House. But the bigger point, Ali, is that when Massey and I, when we passed the bill, 427 to 1 in the House, 100 to 0 in the Senate, the president signed it. You can't just ignore the law. It's obstruction of justice. It can be criminally prosecuted, if not by this administration, then a future administration. So there is a lot of outrage, not just with survivors, but with Republicans at what is happening with the selective Epstein disclosure. And when we get back, we're going to push for full transparency.
What do you think motivates them? 427 to 1 in the House, 100 to nothing in the Senate. Remarkable frustration. I mean, we're using Marjorie Taylor Greene as an example, but she's just one example. There are lots and lots and lots of Republicans, as you predicted there would be, who are saying to themselves, I can't hold off against this tidal wave with my constituents. What's going on here?
Well, they're protecting the Epstein class. I mean, the president says it out loud. He says this is going to hurt a lot of people. This is going to hurt a lot of people who he knew, prominent bankers, prominent lawyers, prominent politicians, many of them in New York. And while the survivors haven't given me specific names, they've described the type of people in these files. Then people come on and say, well, are Khanna and Massey exaggerating? There's one way to find out. Just release the files. Release them. But that's what's going on here, is they want to protect the reputation of these rich and powerful men who showed up in Epstein's rape island and not have them take accountability.
Some remarkable reporting from the Wall Street Journal tonight, in which it says the club, meaning Mar-a-Lago, was also sending spa employees, usually young women, to Epstein's nearby mansion for massages, manicures, and other spa services, according to former Mar-a-Lago and Epstein employees. The house calls went on for years, even as spa employees warned each other about Epstein, who was known among staff for being sexually suggestive and exposing himself during the appointments, according to the former Mar-a-Lago employees. So this continues to be, I mean, obviously in these releases of files, we see photographs of Mar-a-Lago. This continues to be an issue. The ties between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. I haven't seen anything that suggests culpability on Donald Trump's part, but there's a whole lot of pushback and secrecy going on.
There is, and I haven't seen anything that suggests any culpability, but there's obviously evidence that there was a tie between Mar-a-Lago, a place that Trump reveres as his home, as his headquarters, and Epstein. And those documents need to come out. I mean, the Wall Street Journal reporting is just scratching the surface. All of this stuff is in the Florida criminal case. There was discovery. There are documents. All of it needs to come out.
Ro Khanna has not only been instrumental in getting the ball rolling and making sure we are bringing enough attention to the Epstein cover-up, and I will always commend him for that. But then he kept going, and he's telling Pam Bondi there will be accountability. It is the only thing that MAGA responds to. I think that we need to keep that in mind, that they understand accountability and they understand attention. Fundamentally, these people are broken. They are sad, that they are socially awkward, and they are largely unliked in their lives. That is true of these MAGA politicians, of these MAGA figures. It is why they so need attention all the time. Donald Trump is a broken person. He is a broken personality. And that is what is very true of a Kash Patel or a Pete Hegseth, a Pam Bondi. Why do you think they're always on Fox, always doing podcasts? Sure, it's because they need the MAGA media wheel to keep on earning, but they're desperate for that attention. Which is why as soon as he left the FBI, Dan Bongino, a career podcaster, decided to get himself back in the mix with a fight with one of Donald Trump's biggest supporters and a known pedo. MAGA rejects wage-blistering attack on each other. You've always been a dick. Things got messy between two far right-wing figures whose time in the Trump administration was short-lived. Recently resigned Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino and Matt Gaetz, the disgraced ex-lawmaker, whose U.S. Attorney General nomination by Donald Trump was withdrawn amid a scandal after the 2024 election, exchanged insults on Tuesday morning. Gaetz, 43, fired the first shot after Bonho re-emerged on social media for the first time since leaving the FBI. The former congressman tagged the AI bot Grok on a Twitter post and asked when did Dan Bongino run for office and how did he perform as a candidate. Grok answered with details about Bongino trio of failed congressional runs, twice in Maryland and once in Florida. That clearly struck a nerve with the 51-year-old former Secret Service agent who fired back at Gaetz 2 hours later. Maybe if I spent more time at shady parties with moneyed insiders, I would have won. He wrote, I heard you'd know a bit about that. You've always been a dick, by the way, grifting off your daddy like a suckling little doggy. When I first met you in the Panhandle, I knew you were a piece of it's written all over your phony face. Ouch. Bongino post quickly racked up more than 10,000 likes, while Gaetz's question received about 1,000 by the early afternoon. There's just a lot of strange behavior from people who are clearly desperate for attention. But Dan Bongino isn't wrong this time. Matt Gaetz is absolutely a sleazeball and a criminal. That's why he left Congress and why even Donald Trump wouldn't give him a job, which is wild considering the types of people Trump does hire. What this Bongino-Gaetz fight really shows is the internal divide inside MAGA right now. The fake anti-establishment outsiders versus those clinging to Trump. Gaetz tries to brand himself as the outsider you can trust, but that was always Trump's identity, even though he was never truly an outsider. As Trump has gotten closer to billionaires, foreign interests, and powerful elites, especially people like Miriam Adelson pushing him to serve Israel's extremist agenda, Republicans are finally questioning whether Trump is really America first. He never was. And as Trump wiped out traditional Republicans like Romney, Cheney, and Kinzinger, he actually weakened himself because now he has no one inside the party to rebel against. Republicans don't govern. Their entire mission is blocking progress and protecting billionaires while hurting working people. So now Trump isn't the outsider anymore. MAGA is fighting itself, and people like Dan Bongino are leaving government to pretend they're rebels again. Podcasting, spreading conspiracies, and avoiding accountability. The truth is, there are no real fighters in MAGA, just corrupt figures and sex criminals like Trump and Gaetz. So let's ask why Bongino really left. Was it the Epstein mess? Was the money drying up? Probably both. Either way, the MAGA civil war is only getting uglier, and we're going to keep calling it out. If you want to support that, hit subscribe, like the video, and drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I will see you soon.